All right, Gary Burnison, CEO of Korn, Ferry International, says the job market is on the mend. The executive search firm has a global presence across a broad range of industries. And Gary is joining us now with more insight into the outlook for jobs and the executive compensation situation. Gary, great to have you on the show today. So first of all, your company itself reported better than expected earnings. What drove you to this level of profitability, considering we've got a contracting job market here?
Well, clearly we're fortunate. I mean, a year ago, the markets were in free fall. CEOs around the world just hoarded cash. But I think it's our differentiated model. We've got a different business model than companies that are in our space. We've got a leadership and consulting business. We've got an outsourcing business. And of course, we've got our flagship executive recruiting business, where we place 20 executives a day that on average make $250,000.
So you're saying you've got a diversified model, and that's worked out for you. So tell me about some of the people you're placing. Who's in most demand right now?
It's been across the board, with the exception of one area that you could guess, and that's real estate. But financial services, about 4 or 5 months ago, really started coming back. And in fact, this last quarter, that was up 43% sequentially.
So do you say, or would you expect then, given what you're seeing in your business, what we're seeing with the Labor Department statistics, the fewer jobs being lost to the economy, that we're going to be seeing jobs added to the payrolls here before, too much longer?
Hard to say. I think that CEOs around the world today are still going to have a bias towards cash. I do, in terms of running a global business. There is still a little bit of cash hoarding. There's a incredible credit contraction. On the consumer side, that's probably going to be $3 trillion. But running a business today, if you don't have that safety net of the banking system, you're going to have a bias towards cash and liquidity. I think you'll probably see continued M&A activity in early 2010. And on the job market, I think it's going to be slow.
What do you think needs to sort out for the unemployment level to come down here from 10%?
Oh, the banking system, totally. Absolutely.
I don't know if you heard the president. They had this bipartisan meeting at the White House today. They're bandying about all these ideas, extending benefits, cap gains tax for 1 year. Any of those ideas stand out to you as good idea, bad idea?
I think if you're cutting tax, that's probably a good idea. Mm-hmm. I think tax credits for people to, for companies to hire employees, I'm not so sure about. I wouldn't do it. That wouldn't be reason enough for me. I mean, we've got to see the top line moving, and I think most CEOs are going to be the same way. Are
you expecting a change in your business model to come after these executive pay caps come through? Well, I'm assuming they will, but it seems like there's a lot of politicking going on there that seems that that's going to fall through. Not fall through, but happen.
Yeah, happen, yeah. Well, it probably will. I mean, since Enron, I think you've seen a trend of greater responsibility in the boardroom. You're going to continue to see that. The amount of work that we're doing in the boardroom relative to succession planning and comp and benefits is pretty high right now.
I mean, are you having to tell prospective people you're going to place, like, hey, look, you're probably not going to get the salary that you might anticipate as recently as a year or two ago?
Well, wages are down, number one. But you got to remember, you're talking, there are essentially 6 companies that still have TARP money. There's a lot of other smaller companies, but, there's many, many companies in the world and in the United States. So you can't just take that and cascade it down. But in general, yeah, bonuses are going to be tied up longer. They're going to be tied to how the company does. That's the trend.
What do you think is fair for compensation reform?
What is fair? I think the government should stay out of it. I think it should start with the boardroom. The board of directors are responsible for representing the shareholders. So, that should include the strategy, it should include who the CEO is, and it should include the compensation process.
Okay, and for your company, Korn Ferry International, again, you beat earnings expectations. Your stock price is up 55% year to date. Are you expecting this level and pace of growth to continue into the next year?
It's really hard to say. I mean, the banking system has to come back. And the big question is the consumer. What's going to happen with consumer spending?
All right. We sure thank you for your time and your insights. Gary Burnison, the CEO of Korn Ferry International.